Welcome to the View in Your Mirror podcast. We are your hosts, Lisa Rubin and Katie Harms. From new moves to tried and true strategies, we'll dissect the ways in which clothing and a little organization can and does affect your daily life. Come along as we hope to inspire, engage, and shape your rituals as well as your shapewear. Oh, Lisa Rubin, here we are.
Hello, Katie. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is.
Whatever time of day you happen to be tuning in, right?
Exactly. By the way, I also have heard from many of my people that have been giving me feedback that I get listened to, or we get listened to, in the middle of the night.
Oh, well, I believe
when we can't sleep.
Well, exactly. We are a certain age, some of us. That's part of it too. I think some of the fun things we're talking about, one of the things I want to touch on too as we go forward and as we look to doing more podcasts is transitions. Where are people at in their life with transitions? A lot of your client base, you've talked about it before, is starting to transition. They might be retiring or going to do more board work or something like that. And so as we have new people coming on board, no pun intended, new people funneling in to find your services and realize the importance of wardrobe consulting, as the clients that I'm working with that are transitioning are downsizing. And in a lot of cases, the downsize actually gives them the time to really think about the space and how they're going to use it, and they end up feeling like they have more space to use. So as we transition in our lives, there's a lot of them, right? I want to keep talking about that. And as we bring people on, how many people stay in a job now for 25 years? We're going to have Amelia Santaniello on as our guest in a few minutes. And 25 years, who spends that amount of time at one place?
Other than myself, because I've been a wardrobe consultant for 38 years this July.
You've been doing the same thing, but you've been on your own.
I've been doing the same thing. I mean, I've been developing it in different ways. I started at Dayton's in the FYI wardrobe consulting service, and then I went off on my own. Yes, I don't remember exactly how many years it's been now, but it's probably been half.
And your focus has truly been on wardrobe consulting from day one, which if you go back and listen to our early podcasts, we talk about how we got to where we are. I think design and space planning has always been woven into what I've done and has been a large part of my business in different iterations. So, yeah, you're right.
You really talk about what people need in their life, and when you're planning their spaces, it's very important to you. It's not because you did it for me.
Right.
It's not about designing that gorgeous closet. It's about what do you need that's going to work for your family and yourself so that you feel good about moving about your house.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. I think that is critical, and we can make it pretty too.
Of course you can make it pretty, but that's not your top priority.
Correct.
It's not about all the bangles you're going to put in there.
Exactly.
If you want bangles, you can show them bangles,
Yep.
but that is not what you're all about.
And if you're going to have those bangles, they've got to make sense for you.
Exactly.
When you're doing your closet, I've seen a lot of spaces that I look at them and I think, why did they overdo for what they needed? And it's not about how much money you can spend or what that bottom line is. It's how does it work for you? And again, we can go back and look at that with what you do.
Too. Yeah.
Exactly what you do. Now, interestingly enough, we talked last time about, the different sizes and all that. And you'll notice what I'm wearing today.
I am noticing you're wearing sleeveless, and guess what? So am I.
I know. We both have very similar dresses on, only in completely different color patterns, right?
Right.
But I was looking at some of the clothes in my closet today when I was getting dressed, and I thought, that's not fitting well, but I think I could have it altered. And then you come along and you tell me about
that I just went and had some of my stuff altered. So I took a couple pairs of pants that I have that were a little wider leg, and yes, wider legs are in now, but this was more for not my professional, but for golfing and for more active stuff. And I love these pants. They just had a wider leg. So I took them into my favorite alterations person at Lamone Taylor, Reza. And I'm like, I want to make these more narrow from the knee down. And we talk about it, and he's great. He's great. He always knows his stuff. He's very confident. And if he can't do it or doesn't think it should be done, he'll say, I'm not doing that.
And if I remember, he's a little bit of a character, isn't he?
He's a character. He is. And I send a lot of clients to him, and they all just really like the work he does. And when he says he's going to do it, he does it. It's always on time. And it's something that people need to think about. Instead of going out, rushing out to go buy something new, maybe there's something in your closet you haven't worn for a long time. And I always ask the question, why? And when I get the response, A, it might not fit, or it's too big, or I don't like the sleeve is wider, whatever it may be, I say, well, if you like it and it's in good shape, maybe you should consider spending the money and altering it.
Exactly.
But what I tell people is that you can alter any piece 2 sizes.
Okay.
So let's say you were a size 12 and you lost a bunch of weight and you wanted,
From
now
your
you're
mouth
an 8.
to God's ears, Lisa.
And now you're an 8, right? Generally, the clothes in your closet can be remade down to that size 8. It costs money, and some things are worth it and some things are not.
Cheaper than a whole new wardrobe and worth looking at. Now, have you gone into people's wardrobes and looked at those things and said, yes, 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 yes?
Absolutely.
And so that right there is savings in and of itself. And then you work around that when you're going forward. I
actually had 2 clients who've lost over 100 pounds, and I've been helping them for many, many years. And
I found some.
You found some what?
Of their 100 pounds.
Oh. Anyway, and I've been helping them for many, many years. So I knew the clothes in their closet, right? And she's like, okay, I'm so excited I get to go buy all new clothes. No. You don't have to buy all new clothes. Let's take a few of those really great pieces. We'll go in. I go into Moan Taylor's. Let's go with Reza. I will meet you there, and we will discuss if these can be recut or remade.
Ooh, maybe Reza has we should have Reza on. I think Reza was vying for a position to come on the podcast.
He listens to my podcast. He is a character. He's great.
Does he listen to mine too?
No, only mine.
I see. Okay. On our podcast today, we have Amelia Santaniello, and I'm so excited to talk. I just think she is fantastic. She recently celebrated 25 years on WCCO. 25 years on the same station, working next to her husband, by the way, which is pretty incredible. So think about that kind of time spent together. And I'm sure she has stories, but really, I want to know what is the key to her longevity for 25 years and the transitions she's gone through. So it's time to welcome Amelia Santaniello. Amelia Santaniello, we are so happy to have you with us.
Happy to be here.
Transitions. We were talking about that earlier. You're in a transition right now.
We are.
Is this the last
the
one?
The twins they'll be, so we have twins, the older ones in school, and these 2, it'll be it. So we're getting 2 at once, which is like really difficult.
Are they going to different places?
They are going to different places. So we have.
Is that sad for them?
They're so ready.
Were they at different high schools also?
They're at different high schools too. So,
they were.
Yeah,
okay.
they were. I will never forget kindergarten. Our kindergarten teacher, who I love, Mrs. Martin, she came up to me. She said, "You may want to separate them." And it was kindergarten because that was the first time I had them in the same class. And she said, because Frankie's girl, more advanced than Joe. Joe's at the right pace, but Frankie was more advanced. She said he's trying to keep up with her, and it's making him, like, his confidence, I could see it going down. And she said, but he's right on target. It's not that he's behind. He's right there. So then I was like, you know what? I am going to so since kindergarten, they went to a small school, grade school. So they all had the same friends and all that. But in high school, he went to an all boys and she went to Holy Angels, and it was fine. Although she did say, I'm going to be sad not seeing him.
Yeah.
It was funny because he's the big softie, and
she's the tough one.
Yeah, she's kind of tough because she's kind of like, well, whatever. But
where are they going?
He's going to St. John's. He's going to play football there, and she's going to University of Denver.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic school.
Yeah.
Nice place to
visit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just at University of St. Thomas.
Oh, so you get to see him.
Well,
and
he's at school.
He's
you
at
get
college.
to see him.
Yeah.
But I was like, I had all these visions of, he's going to come home on Sundays and going to make dinner. He's going to bring friends. And, oh my gosh. And, and friends told me who went locally at the U and everything. Yeah. They said, you're not, it's going to be like he's out of state. Believe me when it happens. And he really very rarely came home.
Yeah.
So you weren't that mom that just said, honey, I'm going to go meet you for lunch. Oh,
Oh,
you
my
couldn't because
God.
it was COVID.
Yeah, no, for COVID, he did come home for the semester. So, because it was all online anyway.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll be home. So he was home, but he slowly, went back. And, those kids don't care. The teenagers did not care. So when he started going, I'm like, you need to move back into your house because I don't want our kids exposed.
Right.
We don't want to be exposed because they were playing sports.
Right.
And
Now,
I was like,
is your oldest playing football at St. Thomas?
he was playing basketball.
Oh,
He played
that's right.
basketball.
He's the basketball player.
He
Yeah.
played basketball for the first year, and that's why he chose to go to St. Thomas. I think he might have a little bit of a regret about not going out of state. I asked him
can
that day.
still.
And that's what I said. Well, after he decided his sophomore year he didn't want to play basketball, I said, well, transfer. Now's the time to do it. And he got into, he wanted to go to CU, University of Colorado. That's where Frank went. And I'm like, well, then go. And then he was like, well, I've kind of made my friends. You know what I mean? He kind of had his life already.
Yeah.
I was like, that's fine. He goes, I can't get in until spring semester. And I was like, that's kind of weird. So we would have been moving halfway. And I was like, we can figure it out. Whatever, you want to do. I said, I just don't want you to have regrets. And he was kind of like, well, I can always move for a job. So he seems fairly happy.
Yeah. The one went away and played on a D1 scholarship for 2 years outstate and then came back
Doing
and finished
what?
up here. She was
Basketball,
volleyball.
volleyball?
Our middle daughter went as far away from the two crazy athletes on it. She was an athlete also, but wasn't going to take it into college. So she went out to California.
That's our
And then
daughter.
the youngest played volleyball for the Gophers. And talk about seeing her. The only time we got to see her is when we went to the games and
yeah.
got to say
How
hi.
fun.
And she was very much doing her own thing.
Was she?
But even there, I think that's a natural thing with kids at that age is to have regrets about, did I do the right thing? Because even for her, it took through getting to her senior year before she was like, yeah, I feel I'm where I want to be.
Really? Our daughter, it's been hard. Not hard. She is a really good basketball player, so she was getting recruited. And my husband played football at Air Force Academy for 1 year, then transferred to CU because he didn't want to do that anymore. And he regrets that. So a lot of times I think he kind of puts that on our kids a little
Yes.
bit. I mean,
Yeah,
I
all of our regrets we put on.
Yes,
We do.
I think
It's so
don't
true.
you?
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I played D3 volleyball. I mean, because back in the day, you didn't have to be 6 feet tall. I was a setter, But D3 back in the day was very easy. It's not like D3 now is like probably what D1 used to be back when I was going to school.
I think you're
Because I
right.
think D3 is it's competitive. But anyway, Frankie decided, she's like, I don't want to play, I don't want to play in college. I want to have a college life. She doesn't have, I don't think, she's been playing so long and she's been playing year round. Like I said to my husband, give her a little bit of a break, even when she was going through it, because she'd be like fall ball, then high school basketball, and then AAU. She'd have maybe a week or two off in August. I mean, this poor
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
She never had a spring break because it was always like state championship or
Sure,
whatever,
you were
Sure,
going.
right.
And she was just like, this year we thought it was going to happen with COVID, but no, they went to
Figured
state
out
and
how to
figured- yeah.
write AAUs and MYAS.
Yeah.
But she
Yeah,
can pick
yeah.
up. She can do a pickup intramural.
Yes, and that, which I think that she's going to miss it because she loved it when she played. So she can either play intramural or club. And I think so it'll be interesting because I didn't say anything to her, and she's like, "Well, Mom, it's not like I'm never going to play again." She said,
She could be a walk-on too.
That I was going to say, you don't know what that coach, if that coach
Yeah.
figures out that she's there and has that background that might bring her in.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know.
But when talking about transitions with Amelia Santaniello, and I think the thing that is hard is that's your social structure, especially if Frank's been involved coaching, if you've been involved coaching, or just even sitting in the stands with those same people, and all of a sudden it's gone. And it's different in college too.
Yeah. Frank and I were talking about that for high school. I mean, I'm going to admit there'd be times I'd be like, why are they here? Looking over at parents, like they don't have any kids playing. It's been years. I said to Frank after Frankie's last game, I said, oh my gosh, that's who we're going to be. We'll be going to high school games. Why? Because that's what we have done for so long.
Yeah.
And I enjoy watching it. I enjoy high school sports. We will have our son. We'll be able to watch him at St. John's, which will be really fun. But I think I enjoy that environment. It's a lot of fun.
Now you'll get to see one Johnny Tommy, right?
No, unfortunately, we
They're not
thought that they were
doing it?
going to do it this spring.
Yeah, I thought so.
And that would be it, but they've decided not to do it, and so we're not going to have that rivalry in the house. But
Crazy.
yeah, that's such a fun game to go to.
That is a
by the
fun
way.
game. I went to St. Ben's for a couple years.
Did you?
Yes, I did. way, way back in the Stone Ages, and also played D3 volleyball and basketball, where I really think it was a stone we were playing with. I'm not sure. It was quite a while ago, but I love the background of athletics. Where did you go?
I went to a university. It's in Pennsylvania called Marywood University. It used to be St. Kate's. It was an all-girls school. And then a couple of years before I got there, they went co-ed because they couldn't sustain on all girls. So it was a Catholic university.
How did you end up in Minnesota?
For the job. In this business, you travel around a lot. And my father was in the Air Force, so we traveled a lot. So it sort of prepared me, I think, for the business. I was able to acclimate quickly because I did that my whole life. And then he retired, so we moved to Pennsylvania, where he was from outside of Scranton in the Poconos. And then I got into this business. And then I came here, and I do remember coming here, and I'll never forget in my interview, they said, so where do you see yourself in 5 years? And at that point, I was just tired of moving. So I said, I kind of want to just settle down, have some roots, just do that. And 25 years later,
here you are.
Yeah.
Well, and talk about the transitions. If you think back on, and probably the last, maybe we're a month out from really the big celebration of you and your love letter to Minnesota, which was so beautifully done.
Thank you.
Just those transitions, as you're looking through it, you forget them until you see them, right? Let's just talk about hair transitions.
I know. That's what I said. We were laughing about that. And actually, one of our producers said, I would like to put on the web your different hairstyles. Yeah, different. I came with really, really short hair, which I think I'm going to go back to at some point. So easy to take care of.
What was your favorite hairstyle? Which one did you feel the best in?
That's a
good question. The one, I think it was one of my shorter hairstyles where it kind of like flipped out, It was just an easy hairstyle.
Like a wispy kind of.
Wispy, exactly. I think that might have been one of my favorites. Although the longer is so easy to take care of too. The
ponytail.
You can pull it up and all that. It's funny though, because when you're on TV, I'm sure you're talking to Belinda, you get emails, you get a lot of,
That's what we hear.
Yeah. Like, what's going on? What are you doing? The biggest controversial hairstyles, when I got bangs, he cut them too short instead of having like a longer bang here. And I was like, oh, okay, they'll grow out. When I tell you the amount of phone calls and emails, it was so crazy. And that was before social media, right? And it was actually, remember, when I started, emails weren't even that big. It was slowly starting to get big. So I'm really dating myself. But yeah, people were like, what's going on?
They were completely thrown off.
Yeah, they either really, I would say the majority didn't like the bangs, but there were some who really liked the bangs. So it was funny though. And I was just like, they're going to grow out.
And really, honestly, isn't that kind of why we do the show? Literally, you are an award-winning journalist. You do serious stuff, the news every single day. You've been on national news and all of that, and you probably get the most contact from people about your hair, or maybe
I think
or
it's
your
women.
women.
Yes,
and
clothes
women
too. I think it's you can ask any female on air and they will tell you the same thing. That is the email that they get the most things, about the subject. That is a topic that is discussed the most, right? Men, because I'll ask my husband, he never gets an email about his clothing. Maybe once in a while about what was that tie, but it's so rare. As women, we get it all. We get, what about your hair, your makeup, your clothing? It's
kind of why we're doing this.
The view in your mirror for everybody is always from the outside first,
yes.
right?
Yes.
And if people don't like what you're wearing or don't like your hair or whatever, sometimes they think differently. And that's just the way it is.
It's just the way it is. And I get, because listen, I have a reaction to sometimes if I see somebody, I'm watching the news and I'll be like, oh, hold on. And then I stop myself because I go, oh gosh, this is how people think of me when they're watching me. You can't help it, right?
Well, sometimes you just can't help a reaction to Mike Max's suits. Come on.
I love Max.
I love him.
He's very loud.
Him.
Yes. And the thing about me is I love color and I love patterns. It doesn't translate on air. So it's more, it's like patterns don't.
Right.
Colors I will wear. If I can find a color, I will wear a color.
Does it make you feel good? Is that why you like color? Like,
I don't know. I'm a color person. My favorite color has been purple. For as long as I can remember, I love bright colors. So it looks better. I think on the air it makes you pop, but it's gotten a little easier over the years because before it used to be suits, right? All the time. You had to wear suits. And then it slowly started transitioning. I'll never forget seeing on national news anchors wearing dresses and, sleeveless things. And I was just like, what's going on here? But it's nice now because you can wear a little more, I'd say, casual. You don't have to be buttoned down wearing a suit. So, and by the way, we can't write those off. We couldn't write them off.
I know that because I've helped several people. Yes.
Isn't that crazy?
Because you could wear
and you
it
don't
somewhere
even
else.
get a budget for the clothes. I do know that.
Yeah.
Yes. And
So,
it's too bad.
It is. And because I was like, I'm not wearing these suits anywhere but work, and I can prove it to you.
Rent the Runway. Have you ever thought of that?
I'm doing that because after years of spending so much money, I
Absolutely.
still will buy clothing, to even it out. But after years of buying clothes, and I saw this, and I'm like, well, why not?
And it's fun because I do Rent the Runway for a lot of my clients
Yeah.
now.
It's
Instead
fun.
of buying a whole wardrobe, especially clients that have very special things that they're going to, now it's
Yes.
webinars, it's Zooms, it's whatever. I'm like, no, we'll just do this. But the nice thing probably for you is that you are seeing things come in, you wear it on the air, and you might think, I really like this. I like how it feels on me. You can buy it if you want, or you can look at who it is, and then you can go online and say, oh, what else do they do?
100%.
Because maybe there's something outside of work that you might want to purchase from that designer.
100. It does. It's like, it's a lot of fun. And then we do a lot of, it's been a while, but charity events, the black tie events. So I would buy a dress, right? You buy clothes and you really rarely wear it again, maybe 2 times, maybe 3. I save all my stuff, like that stuff, because I will work it in there and wear it some other time,
Well, and clearly, your husband has not rented the green lime suit that he wore for the lime fundraiser.
No, he didn't. No.
It sits in the closet, does it?
I think Lisa Nigerian gave him that jacket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know, Lisa, and that
She's
does
great.
not surprise me. That makes sense. We have been talking all around all sorts of wonderful things with Amelia Santaniello, and we're going to take a break because we're going to talk about Rustica Bakery, our sponsor, and ooh and ah over how great they are, and then we'll be back. We want to talk about what happens if you have a fight with Frank and all sorts of other really great information that we can get from you. So hang tight. We'll be back.
On the View in Your Mirror podcast, we love sharing our personal favorites. Rustica Bakery is high on that list, and we know you're going to agree. Rustica has 2 locations. They're original at 3224 West Lake Street in Minneapolis, across from Calhoun Commons and Whole Food Market, and Southdale Center next to Lifetime, where you'll enter without even going into the mall. Both have ample parking, either online or in-store. Bread, breakfast, dessert, treats, a menu sure to allow you to find a personal favorite in no time. Online ordering is a breeze, and curbside pickup is an option. Available in-store only are savory menu items. Think grab and go for lunch or enjoy them there. Brunch items are offered Friday through Sunday. My personal favorite is the Take and Bake cookies, available online or in-store. Truly a capstone for any get-together, and in just 15 minutes from package to plate, a memory to make. We highly suggest you always have these in your freezer. RusticaBakery.com. Find the food and drink you adore, or try something new. Rustica Bakery puts the love shown by their customers back into every item baked. At Rustica, you're among favorites.
And we are back with Amelia Santaniello. I'm Katie Harms. You are
Lisa Rubin.
And this is The View in Your Mirror, and we love getting to know you a little bit better. Even though after 25 years, I feel like we all just have such warm, wonderful feelings. Minnesota's your home, and working next to your husband for the past, how many years?
16 years.
16 years,
Yeah.
because you were on air before he got here, yes?
We actually I got here in May of 96 and he got here in October of 96 working at another station. But
Forgot that.
and then we met at a charity event in December of 96. So, but he came over to WCCO 16 years ago. Yeah. And I was saying during our break there, we really didn't think about it. Like, how working together, what it was going to be like. You figure you're married to somebody, it's going to be fine, right? So I will say I was happy to have him there and work with him, but it was a little tense for me because in my head I kept thinking I want it to be professional. I don't want people to be looking at this and thinking, oh, are they going to be unprofessional and talking about their lives and all that. So I was a little more tense initially. And he was good about it. He was just like, you need to just relax a little. I'm going to be fine. I thought, oh my gosh, he's going to say something inappropriate. On the air, he is going to say something inappropriate to me, you know? But we settled down. I would say it actually is good for our marriage in the beginning, especially because if we were arguing or disagreeing on anything, we had to just get over it, deal with it, because when you're on the news set, we can't be ticked off at each other, because I think that comes across. You can see that.
Right.
And it's funny, the first, I think, second week or so, he said something or he did something, and I was kind of like just looking at him, and I think I stepped on his foot, not trying to show that I was a little aggravated with him. And then we went to an event a couple days later, and a viewer we met there, he brought it up. He goes, we could tell. We were wondering, were you a little upset with him? And that's when I went, oh gosh, we really need to let go of stuff before we go on the air. So it's been good that way, Yeah. You kind of deal with it and then just move on for it, because I'm a grudge holder. I'm going to be honest.
Okay.
I will hold a grudge.
And Frank is not.
And Frank really isn't. He's a typical man. They forget about things in the next 5 minutes, right?
Yes.
So he calls me Michael Corleone a lot of times. He's like, oh my gosh, you need to let go of some things. So this has helped me deal with that.
Sure.
Oh, that's
awesome.
interesting.
And you have some quiet time to and from. You don't drive to the...
Oh no, he thought it was very sweet. He thought we were going to work together and we were going to carpool together. So I had to tell him, I love you, but I need some time alone. That's my time where I can either listen to the radio or be in complete silence or talk to friends. Do you know what I mean? I said, or family. That's my kind of time. And that's worked out great too.
Now, how did that work when you were home for
15 months with
15
COVID?
months with
Oh, I
COVID?
know.
Where did you get your alone? Like, do you have spaces in the house that you could?
You know what? It wasn't that bad. It really wasn't in terms of being together like that. We have a cabin. So we went there to just kind of change the scenery, and we had the kids. And so it was kind of nice to have that environment together with the kids, because our son came home from college. So there was actually the 5 of us again. Because when he left for college, I was like, we'll never be the same again. The dynamics have changed. That's all that was going through my head. So that was kind of nice to have that. So I think we were able to have our own space in terms of being with each kid and hanging and doing our thing. And it was good.
It is interesting to me. Everyone we've talked to during COVID has found more positives.
Yeah.
Of course, there are the negatives, but maybe it's just the kind of people we choose to hang out with, Lisa. I don't know, or maybe how we view ourselves, or that truly part of the view in your mirror is how you see your day and how it starts out and what you're working through.
Right. And I think now that we're hopefully seeing all the light at the end of the tunnel is the fact that we can now look back and see more positive.
Yeah. Because when you're living it, you
When
maybe
you're
you don't even
living it-
realize it, I don't think.
Right.
What do you think has changed? Has anything changed in the newsroom or going forward to how the news is delivered that will be beneficial from COVID?
I will tell you the one positive thing from COVID, I don't know if we call it positive, but helpful, is doing the Zoom interviews, because a lot of time as a reporter, you are kind of at the, you have to go with the schedule of the person you want to interview, right? So you're at their mercy. But this was interesting because doing the Zoom interview, you could really pretty much get an expert anywhere in the country, anytime, right?
Yes, it opened up a lot
So
of...
it did open up a lot of doors that way, a lot of variety, a lot of experts. I think that was helpful, and that has been beneficial in the newsroom.
You think that will be moving forward? They'll still do that?
I think they will. It'll be interesting. I say right now, I think they will, because I think people have been much more forgiving about the Zoom look, because you always want to present. It's a visual medium. You want it to look nice and professional. So it will be interesting to see if we do continue that.
Now, you said during COVID, was it before COVID that you did a remodel on your living room?
It was before COVID. It was before COVID. So
Okay.
it was not a remodel. It's more of a redecorate.
Redecorate. Well,
Yeah.
that's good because then you got to show off your beautiful house during
Thank
COVID.
goodness, because you wouldn't want to see it before. It was all dark colors and everything. So yeah, that's still a work in progress there. I'll start something and be really into it, and then all of a sudden veer another direction, because something else is going on. Like our kids are going to be going away to school in fall. So I'm more focused on that and trying to get that done.
And what's going with them and what's leaving their
Yes,
room
yeah.
and all of
I
that.
will be redoing their rooms though. They're just, oh my gosh.
Do
it's
they
like a
know that?
tornado. Oh yeah, they know. It's like a tornado hit them. The room, they have things all over the place. I'm like, why can't you pick it up?
Are you going to make them clean their room before they go away?
Oh, I try
Otherwise,
all
you
the
get
time.
to clean it and tell them that could be very scary what
Well,
you're going to find.
That's what I said. I tell them that, Lisa, I'm like, I will go through it. They're so tired of hearing they're like, here she comes again. I'm like, please pick up your room, clean it up. Their idea of cleaning up is shoving it all into a closet.
Yes.
So I go, doesn't it feel better when you're all nice and clean and neat? And even my daughter's like, that doesn't matter to me. I'm fine. So
Yeah,
wait
it'll
wait
be
till you go
interesting
visit
to
them
see.
at school and you
Yes.
go look at their dorm room.
oh,
I bet that will change.
It made my skin crawl.
did it?
Oh,
Yeah.
But my kids came to that. I mean, they had watched me for so many years, and that same thing used to. I remember one house I designed. I said, I can't walk by my kids' rooms to get to my room because it'll make me crazy.
Yes.
So I just designed. And then I remember one house we did, I'm standing there and they're literally trying something on, and then they dropped it in the laundry basket, clean.
Oh my gosh.
And I
I've
said,
seen
that's
that
it.
too. Yeah.
That's it. You get your own laundry room. And so they started doing their own laundry very early on in life.
We've done that with our kids too.
Yeah.
Doing laundry. They've been doing laundry. Although I'm like, please don't do mine because they'll throw everything into the dryer.
Yes.
I'm like, I'm not that. I have to hang stuff up or please.
I think that was a technique my husband used early in our marriage, that he put a sweater, a wool cashmere sweater in the
into a
dryer,
dryer?
and it was a beautiful sweater. And I'm like, you will never do my laundry again. And I think he was going, yes.
It worked. The
That
plan
was a
worked.
ploy. But he will now, after 37 plus years of marriage, he will occasionally do a load of laundry if he sees it needs to
Yeah.
be done, which is, I mean, proof that we can have changes in
Yes,
life after all of these
absolutely.
years. And back to the transitions, you're right. You've got a big one coming up.
We do. It'll be it'll be interesting. I'm like, okay, I spend all this time with my husband during the week, obviously, and working and all that. So now it'll be the transition of not having, because the weekends are focused around our children, right? Now we're not going to have every weekend with our kids. So
And when you
it'll
go
be
to the cabin and it'll be quiet.
Yeah. I don't know how that's good. But I have friends who are empty nesters and they're like, you know what? It's a little sad at first, but it's kind of nice. You get into a groove.
You do. You absolutely do.
you get to find more peaceful time that you didn't have for a really long time. And it takes a lot of time to figure out, I can actually sit down, read a book.
Oh, yes.
Or listen to a podcast or whatever it is, and nobody is going to interrupt me. And that takes time.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? I remember when I first had kids, I still remember it because I thought to myself, what did I do with all that time I had before? I mean, it's incredible when you think about it, right? Because when you have kids, all of a sudden you're like time managing. Okay, I've got to go. I'm going to go to the grocery store and I'm going to be in and out in 20 minutes because I have to do that because they have to go take a nap and blah, 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 blah. And I really was like, what did I do? I had so much time.
right.
So I'm like, am I going to be that? Is that what it's going to be like? Am I going to have so much time?
Well, I don't know, but I think that I always tell like new parents that all the kids are going away, or even the first one that goes
Yeah.
away, they really kind of need you that first 4 months in very weird ways.
Yeah.
And so they might say, hey, are you going to come out for parents weekend? And you have 3 of them. So you
Yeah.
could actually September, October, November, December, you could see
Be a
one.
little busy. Yeah.
It's that January, February, March time that it sets in, I think.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, you're home too, right? So the winter months. so
Winter
it's not
months,
like
it's
you're-
cold.
Yeah.
And yes, that's when it's tough.
Well, I've been mourning this passage in time because it's just such a strain. You think you're going to have them. Well, this is what you prepare them for, right? Leaving the house.
Right.
But it's so strange because you have them for 18 years and then all of a sudden, bing, they're gone.
Well, and it's a period in time. You're exactly right. It's another transition.
A milestone in your life.
Right. And then they start to come back. Mm-hmm. And then, then there's the next phase. And then there's the grandparent phase, which it's God's gift for not killing your children. I think it's really
That's a good way to put it.
going on. I mean, you could be a terrible parent, but God gives you this gift of grandchildren, and you think
that could be a plaque, a poster.
I'm sure it is somewhere. I don't think I'm the first one to say that at all. I'm sure I heard it somewhere, but no, it is. It's again the transitions, and I think to be open to those, and maybe tying this up in a nice little bow is 25 years of your transitions that we've all shared, and you've done it with grace and humor and all of those things, and having
made it look very easy.
And made it look easy.
It's not easy.
I know it's not. I know it's not. I know it's not.
And that's kind of what we're talking about too. When you wake up in the morning, are you planned? Obviously you go on the air at a certain time and all of that, but what's your morning like?
My morning, and after having, when you have kids, you have to kind of be scheduled, planned, and have it all figured out. So I'll get up in the morning and try to go through and read papers or go online, see what's going on overnight, what had happened and all that. And then whatever I have going on, like I used to volunteer at the kids' their high school. So I had days that I would go and do that and then go into work. And now I'm not going to have that.
No, you have a little more time. You will have a little more time.
You can still volunteer.
You're right. I could actually, one of the woman I volunteer with, she's like, you can always come back. I said, you know what? Put me on the list. Put me on the schedule. So if somebody calls in, I can be the backup. I'm more than happy to do that. So my day is I will schedule doctor's appointments, this and that. And now I'm trying, after gaining weight during COVID, after baking and eating and cooking during COVID, I'm like, okay, I need to start exercising again and start getting into that. So hopefully I will make that as part of my schedule. And then I have to be in at work by 2:15 or so because we have a meeting. Although now we do it by Zoom, so I can easily by phone or whatever. And then my day starts at work at 2:15.
I do think that a lot of efficiencies have come out of Zoom. And even we had Jane Haugen Olsen on.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And talking to her about, how they work now and the efficiencies of when they come back together, everyone working. And she talked about it as an orchestra. It was really fascinating how she saw it, but all the work that's being done and then you come back together, the Zoom meetings to do your prep and all of that. I just think that's so much more efficient.
Well, it's, what? It's great for me because I'm going to be honest, I'm constantly running late, it's like things will run late or whatever. So this is nice for me that I don't have to actually be sitting down in the meeting room at 2:15. I'm able to join, like in the car, I'm listening on the Bluetooth, as I'm going in. I'm like, oh, my 5 minutes late. But yet I'm still involved. I can hear what's going on. So that's been great to be a part of that and to be a part of the meeting every single day on time.
And you can still do your job well doing it that way versus the way you did it all those other years.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens, not just only with my career or, my business, but other businesses, because I am sure things have changed so much in terms of being at work, working from the office.
Yes.
Are they going to be a hybrid? Do people miss the socialization,
Well, there's a lot of that because I already have people starting to contact me
about
Lisa, I forgot how to get dressed in the morning.
Yeah.
And another one that happened to me yesterday with a client, she's like, I had to go to my first business meeting where there was more than 2 people. I forgot how to talk to people.
Oh my gosh, really?
So then I become the therapist. But I think there's going to be a lot of that going on in August and September.
I think so.
And people we've talked about this on other podcasts, have to get reacquainted to their closet.
Yeah.
Because you've probably still worn, forget
For
Rent
work,
the Runway and work stuff, but everything else, you probably have worn 10 pieces in your closet.
Yeah.
Everything else you haven't even looked at. Well, that's what most people are doing right now. So they have to start to re-engage in their closet. They have to become friends again with the clothes in their closet.
And not the day before the meeting.
Yeah.
And I think, and especially even with your kids going away to school, your daughter might say, oh my God, I don't know if she's going to do a sorority, this and that. You got to look at her clothes, see what she needs. Everyone is doing that.
Yeah.
And then retail is tough right now. So that's a whole nother story.
Tough in terms of what? Themes
Because
or
a lot of the
options?
designers and manufacturers had such a tough time during COVID on all different levels, supply
So they're
chain,
cutting
everything.
back.
So they all cut back. So you got to remember that most designers and manufacturers of clothing are designing the lines a year and a half to 2 years
before.
So what you're going to see in the stores this fall really was when COVID hit.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
It's going to be really tough.
In terms of options, you
Well, I
mean?
think
Yeah.
in finding things, right?
Yeah.
Because
And then the
nobody knew
retail
what
stores
numbers.
haven't had any business, right? So
Yes.
they don't have a lot of
They don't have a lot of
dollars to
stock,
put into
yeah.
inventory. So
Yeah.
it's going to be very difficult. I mean, I found other ways. Rent the Runway is
Yes.
one of them to help so people still feel the best version of themselves. So it's going to be very interesting.
It is, because I think you could see it a little bit even right now.
Oh,
right? Because I
absolutely.
think going in and, like you said, the inventory and go into stores, and it's really limited in terms of what they have.
Oh.
Whereas before it would be like, listen, I will go into Opitz at TJ Maxx, and even then their inventory is really, really limited. And you used to
Unbelievable.
have like a big bonanza of things to choose from.
So my prediction with that one is wait another year, because all of this merchandise that hasn't been sold in all the stores and they want to get rid of their inventory is going to go to places like that. So you're going to probably find
more there.
more there.
That's
It's going to
interesting.
be stuff that's been in stores, right?
Yeah.
Or manufacturers that can't offload their stuff, but you're going to see a lot more of it.
Do you think in terms of, because I know some people who go season, well, this was 2021 spring. I can't wear this in 2022. I so don't think about when it's what I feel comfortable in, I think, right? And what I
absolutely.
feel I look good in. and
Absolutely.
I don't have to be, there are some trendy things I may get, but I'm not going to spend a ton of money on the trendy. But I have stuff in my closet from
That poses
years.
a great question. Do you have a favorite piece, something that you pull out that
Oh, I have a couple of really favorite where I will lay down some money, I like a good bargain, but I have a blazer that I absolutely love. It's a black wool blazer, and I will wear that with jeans. I will wear that on the air. And there are a couple of shoes that are my favorites, things that I know I will never, ever get rid of.
And you cherish them.
Cherish them.
So now
and you
it-
feel good when do you know what I mean? When
Absolutely.
You wear it, you can tell. You feel great. I'm like, I love this. I feel great in this,
Do you prepare what you're going to wear the day before, or do you wait to see how you feel? I mean, if you're doing Rent the Runway, you have a certain period
Yes.
of time that you have to wear this stuff.
Yeah.
So do you kind of plan that out or not really?
I love that question. Sometimes in my head, I'll have an idea of what is the weather like? Oh, this is the forecast. These are things that I can wear this week. And then you're right, though, that morning I'll get up, or that day, and it's before I go into work. Depends on how
do
I
you
feel.
feel?
So, because my husband will ask me, what are you wearing today? Because he likes to coordinate the tie with what I'm wearing. That's his thing. We started doing it
that
during...
actually makes sense if you think about it.
Yeah.
You're sitting next to each other. So
I've noticed that, and it's nice.
We started doing it more during COVID because we're home. I wasn't off running because a lot of times I'll leave the house and he'll leave to do something else and we don't see what each other is wearing. He doesn't see what I'm wearing, right? And so we don't know. So during COVID, we're together. So he knows exactly what I'm wearing. And that's when it started becoming a little bit more, daily, obviously. But you're right. A lot of it is, how do I feel? Am I bloated today? Maybe I'm not going to wear that skirt or that dress,
Right. We have our bloating days and our
Yes.
non-bloating days.
I mean, Spanx isn't going to even help that. You know what I mean? So I do have in my mind the weather, how I feel, and figure it out. And I try not to wear, so I try to space out what I wear.
Yeah.
Do
you repeat?
Oh, yeah, I do. But Rent the Runway has made it so much easier not to. So I will combine Rent the Runway with my own wardrobe, depending on what
Right.
it's like. What is it with how I feel, the weather, or whatever.
Well, back to your question too about does it have to be? How many people do you know that only will wear the clothing from that season? I mean, I'm a bargain.
I don't teach and train that with my clients.
Yeah.
So anyone I'm helping, that's
That
out
doesn't
the
matter.
door.
I'm with you.
No. I mean, clearly you don't want to show up in a white tank top in February in Minnesota. But you can put that white tank top, if you really like it, over a really great blazer.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Yes, or under. You don't want to put it over the way.
I mean, under.
Or over
I
and
mean,
start a trend.
I don't know where I was. We were at a volleyball game somewhere in some small town somewhere during club season. I turned on the news and bless her heart, the weather person was wearing a white button-down shirt with a Nicky Bicky over it,
Oy.
like a little,
Not good.
a tank, a little teeny strap tank over the
Over the shirt?
white blouse. And I thought,
She needs to call Lisa.
she needs to call Lisa. What would Lisa do is what is constantly
That is
in my
not
head.
part of Lisa's rules, as my clients call it, Lisa's
Definitely
rules.
No, but it's so true. It all goes back to the feeling. What's
Yeah.
the view in
It
your-
all
what's
goes back
view
to the
in your
feeling.
mirror when you look at that and go, "Yep, okay, I feel." And I think depending on who you're seeing on that given day, or so many times I'll think I'm going to wear that the next day, and I'll lay it out, and I get up in the morning, I'm like,
Yeah.
no.
Oh, I've done that a lot. Yeah. I do like in my mind, I like to have an idea of what the 5 days. This is what I'm going to wear, But like I said, it changes, could
Yeah,
change
yeah.
when I wake up in the morning that day and change things up.
Well, it's just more efficiencies too, right? It gives you it's less to think about if you can have some idea,
Yes, 100%.
which
And
makes
one of the
sense.
things that I talked about during COVID, are you a shoe person?
I'm such a shoe person.
Okay, well, most
Yeah.
women are. So a lot of people didn't wear shoes during COVID, right? Drove me crazy. So I would every once in a while text certain clients that I knew would be wearing bare feet, and they, they had their suit or whatever from the waist up. I'm like, put on your favorite high heels because you don't have to walk around in them. You'll feel
I
better.
know you do feel better. You look down. and
Yeah.
you're like, yeah.
So when you were in your house during COVID, did you still wear shoes?
I did. I still, well, you know what? Because here's what happened. Never in a million years did I ever think I would buy a pair of Birkenstock.
I still haven't.
Never did I think so. So a friend of mine's like, they're so comfortable. You need to go and get them. I think I lived in my Birkenstock at home, but I would still wear shoes because I worked Monday through Friday. Right? So I would have my heels and wear my heels all the time. I love a good shoe. I love a good shoe.
So you
And
still put a heel on when you were on air.
Oh,
You wouldn't wear
100
your Birkenstocks.
Oh my gosh, no.
Because
I
it doesn't feel right?
No. I would
See,
wear. I wear my heels. Dressed for work and all that.
Well, Lisa, you've always talked about the uniform. So
The
you're-
uniform.
Yeah,
It's your uniform.
100%.
You got it. And everyone has different uniforms throughout their day.
Yeah,
They do. Now, we have one other question and we just started this not too long ago, but Lisa walked with a friend who wanted to know about me. And so Lisa said, well, let me describe it this way. And so she gave a dog analogy. I'm a Labrador and
I'm a
she's
standard
poodle.
poodle.
Oh, you're a poodle.
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of dog
standard
am I?
poodle.
A standard
If
poodle.
you were to describe yourself,
a Chihuahua.
Okay.
Small but yippy.
small and mighty.
Mighty, maybe.
Mighty and has confidence.
And maybe. I mean, that's
So
the
that's
first
a
thing that
good
came
one.
to my mind.
Well, then that's what you
love
are.
it. I love
She
it.
wanted
That's
to
perfect.
tell me that I was a miniature poodle because a standard poodle would be bigger usually than a Labrador, and I am half the size of Katie. I said, no, I am not a miniature poodle. I'm
You are
a
a
standard
standard
poodle.
poodle.
You are
Yeah.
a standard poodle, and she's standing proud as a standard poodle. So
Yeah.
I like
thought
that.
was fabulous. Thank you for being here. We do have one more thing to talk about each, and I almost forgot, but almost every show we dedicate some time to a nonprofit, and you gave us Nexus Family Healing
Yes.
of Plymouth. Tell us a little bit about your association with them, or
Well,
about them.
It started actually, I would say, in the last year. One of our reporters did a story about it. So they help with foster families and with children in foster homes. One of the things they asked for was suitcases because they told a story about how you have these kids moving from home to home and they have nothing to put their clothes in or their belongings in, carrying them in garbage bags and all that. So that's when I was like, my goodness, I've never thought of that. And so I called them up and I said, well, I have some suitcases there. And at that point, they're like, Amelia, it's been so wonderful. We're so grateful because so many people came and donated suitcases, but we are really at
Full up.
max capacity. And I said, well, do you need clothing? Do you take clothing and shoes and boots and all this? This is like the beginning of winter. And they said, yes. So I went and dropped all that off for them too. But they just do so much more. They help out with foster kids and they also have services to help with mental health issues. And that is open to the public. So they have many different areas where they're extremely helpful, I think, to a lot of families and a lot of children. And so that's why I haven't been involved a lot, but this past year I did help donate, and I helped be a part of, they did a coffee clutch to sort of introduce people to Nexus Family Healing. I hadn't heard of them before this. So
No, I haven't either.
I hadn't either, and I'm really glad that now I've learned about this because I have some things that I can call them and
help
send their
out.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, they've been really good, and they said it's been, and they have different areas, and they're nationwide too. But so I worked with their affiliate here in Plymouth.
Perfect. NexusFamilyHealing.org.
Yes.
Their tagline, or I don't know if this is considered their mission: healing the past, breaking the cycle, changing the future.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And if you need to learn more, or we hope you want to learn more, NexusFamilyHealing.org.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They'll be
Thanks
great.
so much for being here.
This
and
was really, really fun, and it was so good to have you on our podcast.
Oh, I had fun too. Thanks for having me. Thanks
You
for
are
thinking of me.
welcome. Yes, and we'll look forward to watching more transitions through the next many years that we have with you.
Oh, thanks.
You are so welcome. We have come to the close of another show. Each one is my favorite.
I was just thinking that. Everyone gives, it's always just fun.
It's fun to get to know people on a different level than where we have had the opportunity to know them, right? Which is either through our working with them in design or through seeing them on TV. As you have said, all women are the same.
All the same.
They're all the same.
We just all do it differently, but we're all the same, and we all think the same. And once you're a mom, you have the same
wants
stuff you
and
think.
desires and hopes and dreams and all of
Yes.
that. And I think before we end, you said something so profound to me that it needs to actually go out into the podcast waves. You said you've always wanted to make an impact on people outside their clothes.
Yes, I did say that. And that is why I am still doing what I do today.
And that just touched my heart. And I think that's so beautiful and such a great testament to you.
Thank you, Katie.
So for those of you who want to experience this impact on your own, go to lisa@wardrobeconsulting.net.
And Katie at katieharms.com.
Yes. If you want more information on us, you can go to theviewinyourmirror.com and get a little bit more information on us. We loved having Amelia Santaniello on with us. What a delight. And we love having you along. We hope that the view in your mirror is always exceptional. Until next time.